Now we've seen very, very clearly from part one, from the very outset, that this was a training exercise that was performed out of season. All members of the general public were not seen on site, and the carriage itself was going probably at half speed down that dip, up the other side. Didn't manage to get to the other side, up the other side, did it? It rolled back. That was the whole purpose of the drill, to send the coach down the track with persons in it who couldn't have been in it, being that it's out of season. So where did they come from? Simply, they were extras brought in on the day, sat in the seats, the thing sent down the track to do what it did, to go up and then down, in order for the emergency services to have their training day at Alton Towers. That is clear as day. The site, Alton Towers, is huge, absolutely huge. You couldn't have got hundreds of persons out at Alton Towers in the specified time that it took for the emergency services to turn up. And not one member of the public ever posted anything on YouTube of any footage of this incident, because they were never there. As we state again, it was a training exercise. When this coach was sent down at, as we say, roughly, I'd say a half speed, it didn't connect with another coach at all. There was no bang. It didn't go up sufficient to the other side to hit anything. It just rolled back down. And when it rolled back down, it didn't roll back big enough, did it? To as far, well, we didn't see the footage, but we can imagine once it's rolled down, it's going to roll forward again. But as it's rolled forward, it's not going to roll to the very height that it has rolled down from on the other side. So the girls that said it kept perpetually hitting the other coach are liars. And the whole thing is a pigging lie, because it was a training exercise, clear as frigging day. Now, I wish to answer another piece here in this footage, okay? To add to the fact that it was a complete drill. A lie, fabrication, piece of deceit, call it what you will. It was, at the end of the day, a drill scheduled for that day to take place on that day, and the extras shipped in for the day. And of course, all you need here is not even 16 extras. You can do it on the cheap. For some reason, we're having all these drills in the UK. And yet we've got all these cutbacks. Yet they can afford all these pigging drills. Now, the aspect here that I'd like to deal with is the common sense aspect and the health and safety aspect of the roller coaster, which adds to the fact that this was a training exercise for the emergency services. Take it away.
As they still lay strapped in their seats, 4 air ambulances landed at the park to help ferry.
Now, there's people here. Okay. So, as there weren't people there before, alright, because apparently, you see, according to the media, they'd all been evacuated. Hundreds of people had been evacuated. Well, what are they doing here then? and they're just watching these helicopters land, probably landing at a period scheduled to see if they can land properly for the forthcoming event. Alright, and the people here are witnessing them. Whoever's taking the footage, we don't know. And it's strange that the helicopter above doesn't take any footage of them landing, only when they have already landed.
The injured away. Eyewitnesses say.
See? No rotor blades going. No people there except these two. Well, these two. Is it two or one? I don't know. Oh, there's two here. They've all stopped. And there's people there where there shouldn't be people because it was apparently all evacuated. Nice sunny morning. Okay.
The Smiler ride had experienced problems earlier today. There are claims by some that the ride should have been halted earlier.
It was awful, especially, I'm surprised that they had sent people round because they had said several times that they were having technical difficulties with the ride.
Well, that stupid woman, eh? You don't shut a roller coaster down unless you have to shut a roller coaster down, you bimbo. You know.
That the ride should have been halted earlier.
It was awful, especially, I'm surprised that they had sent people round because they had said several times that they were having technical difficulties with the ride.
The Smiler at...
So basically she's saying that it should be shut down. I'm sorry dear, no it shouldn't. Right, if we go by the actual stated procedures, there shouldn't have been an empty carriage on the track. This is specifically for the sheeple, okay, because they're very simple. Alright. You've got two carriages running, one after another. They're spaced out by the computer. They're measured out, the measurements put into a computer, and the computer doesn't allow any one of them to come into contact with one another. Alright? Now you got that, have you? Now why should there be an empty coach, 16 empty seats on a track? Simple as this. The track has been, so the report says, faulty. Alright? This is the story, remember. Okay? This isn't what happened. This is a story. You know, like little Badger, spring cleaning. The story is set that there's been faults all day. So therefore, they bring along this practice of sending down the track an empty carriage to test. The carriage doesn't come back. So then the story then gets sort of changed. Because the story should be, the carriage goes down the track, covers the entire track, comes back into the station. If it doesn't come back into the station, then the operators, not the owners, but the operators, the men on the ground, say, hang on a minute, it's not come back, it's still faulty. Whereabouts is it, Joe? Right, it's down here. Alright, let's go down and get it. Okay, so they go down the track, they put their harnesses on, and they go and walk up the track to it, check it out, get their spanners and such like. Right, okay. They fix it, goes back down to the station. Now, if it's a fault on the track, basically the ride is closed down. It's a fault with the carriage taken off, a new one put on. As they put the new one on, they test that to make it clear that it's nothing wrong with the track. So that goes round, comes back into the station. Fair enough. Alright, Joe, yeah, fine, Bert. Alright, Jihadi Jack, yeah, fine, I've bust me pig in penknife on the frigging rail, innit? Eh? Couldn't get pigging through that pigging rail. Alright, Jihadi Jack, calm down. I see your brother's at it again, Jihadi John. Ah, and Jalopy Jill, nice one, boy. Anyhow, if this thing, empty carriage, comes back, everything is fine. The ride is then opened. What they don't do is to send a carriage around for it not to come back, and then they say, oh right, it's not come back, we'll open the ride and put people on it. And as they send the first one off, we're to believe also that they get a third carriage and put that on the track. And we're about to load that with people when the accident happened. You see how the story doesn't work out in real life. It only works out in fiction. They had to have an empty carriage on the track as part of the drill. They wrote it up. How can we have, what can we have, what can we set up for this crash? Difficult, because how do we have a crash? Well, the only way we can have a crash, Sir Arnold, is if we get another coach on the track that is stopped. Brilliant. I know it is, Sir Arnold. Can I get a knighthood? No, you can't, you can. Pig off. Oh, go on. Oh, sod off. By the way, hang on a minute, Charles. In this first coach that we're going to put on the track to crash into, what about the people on it? Won't they be injured when it crashes? Oh no, you stupid idiot. Oh, of course, you're from the government, aren't you? So you're bound to be stupid. No, what it is, sir. Now, Arnold, you got this. We put an empty coach, all right, in the story, on the track with no people in it. We then get a coach with extras in it to go down the track at half speed and write it in that it hits the first coach. Have you got that, simpleton? Fine. But of course it doesn't hit the first coach, because you see, the persons in the second coach, if they actually slammed in at full speed, they would be injured and we'd end up with compo, because they're extras for the drill. Rock on. And that's how it's done. And of course there will be an inquiry, won't there? And the inquiry will be finding that the operators were negligent and they're going to pay out a few million, and this is how the story continues. And people go, ah, fine, because what you have is a beginning of a story, don't we? We have a middle and we have an end. So you have the crash, you have the investigation, and you get the compensation. And you know something? Those two young girls and that young lad will never get any compensation. It'll be written up as though they've got millions, you see. Alton Towers is sorting them out and they'll get millions. So what do they get? They get bugger all. In one sense. But not in another. Because all the appearances, you see, in their playing the role of the victims, they're getting paid thousands. Every time they appear upon a programme to be interviewed, they get thousands. So they're in it. They're well in it. They don't go short. Now we'll come back to this in a sec.